Our next mentor text is The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. And in this one, she's looking back at her childhood and all the promises that her father made to her and didn't fulfill. I'm going to look at the first chapter of the second part. I was on fire. It was my earliest memory. I was 3 years old and we were living in a trailer park in southern Arizona town whose name I never knew. I was standing on a chair in front of the stove wearing a pink dress my grandmother had bought for me. Pink was my favorite color. The dress skirt stuck out like a tutu, and I liked to spin in front of the mirror, thinking I looked like a ballerina. But at that moment, I was wearing the dress to cook hot dogs, watching them swell and bob in the boiling water, as the late morning sunlight filtered in through the trailer's small kitchenette window. I could hear Mom in the next room singing while she worked on one of her paintings. Juju, our black mutt, was watching me. I stabbed one of the hot dogs with a fork and bent over and offered it to him. The wiener was hot, so Juju looked at it tentatively. But when I stood up and started stirring the hot dogs again, I felt a blaze of heat on my right side. I turned to see where it was coming from and realized my dress was on fire. Frozen with fear, I watched the yellow-white flames make a ragged brown line up the pink fabric of my skirt and climb my stomach. Then the flames leapt up, reaching my face. I screamed. I smelled the burning and hard, horrible crackling of the fire, singeing my hair and eyelashes. Juju was barking. I screamed again. Mom ran into the room. "Mommy, help!" I shrieked. I was still standing on the chair, swatting at the fire with the fork I had been using to stir the hot dogs. Mom ran out of the room and came back with one of the army surplus blankets I hated because the wool was so scratchy. She threw the blanket around me to smother the flames. Dad had gone off in the car, so Mom grabbed me and my younger brother Brian and hurried over to the trailer next to ours. The woman who lived there was hanging her laundry on the clothesline. She had clothespins in her mouth. Mom, in an unnaturally calm voice, explained what happened and asked if we could please have a ride to the hospital. The woman dropped her clothespins and laundry right there in the dirt and, without saying anything, ran for her car. So the two things that I'm going to have us look at with this memoir are the fact that it is her earliest memory. So she starts with that little tagline, "I was on fire." But then she immediately goes back to this is her earliest memory. So this is something that people do quite often in memoirs, is to go back to where it all began. And so she's saying this is her first memory. So I'm going to have you try that as well, to have some sort of short sentence and then jump right immediately into your first memory, whatever that might be. And the second thing I want us to try is this use of very, very short sentences. So a lot of them are actually 3-word sentences or less. I screamed. Juju was barking. I screamed again. Mommy, help me. Pink was my favorite color. I was on fire. So all of those things are very, very short sentences, and it's getting our attention. So she'll have the descriptions, and those will be nice and long, and then all of a sudden we have quick succession of short sentences that are drawing our attention to something. Namely, we're drawing attention to the fact that she is on fire. So grab your paper and we'll try this.